based on what we've talked about, what do you think would be your takeaways in terms of like helping your clients? Because that was the initial motivation.
Yeah, because I think initially I was thinking I want to build a program for them, create some client profiling so that I know specifically what they want to work on,
Yeah.
and kind of go from there. But then actually talking more about the habits, I think that's a lot more important and more fundamental. I've got a lot of clients that just say, oh, I just can't play tennis. I can't play tennis at all now. And I've even, to be honest, I've got a load of sponge balls and mini reg balls that I got from a Tennis for Kids course that I didn't end up using because we had some balls at the tennis centre. And I've literally been giving them out to neighbours, clients, friends, been doing trade-offs with people and saying, I can give these to you, and just saying, look, you can use these sponge balls, for example, even if you just do some racket skills, making sure that you're using the right grip. Like, here's an example of me hitting against the wall, here's an example of Federer doing it, there's no reason why you can't do it. And I've tagged you in my posts as well. And it's almost like, similarly, if someone immediately says, I can't play tennis, I can't do this, then they've just shut it down completely. They've not allowed their minds to even think that it's possible. And then when you show them it's possible, suddenly they're like, oh, okay. Like I said to one of my clients, I said, you and your partner could easily do the volley challenge. Why don't you give it a go? Oh, no, I'm not going to. And then I kept bugging, and then they sent me a video. And I thought, there you go. That's great. You're not going to come back to me in lockdown and go, oh, I've not played tennis for so long. So, I'm not going to be any better. It's going to take me twice as long. It's almost like so many people come with excuses already. And if you can show them a way, like, it could be a simple exercise, and then they'll keep thinking about that. And the amount of people that have said to me, oh, that really helped, or that really motivated me, and that's really given me something for my kids to do during lockdown, and they just feel that little bit inspired. That's all they need. But I think creating the habits is really important. And I really like the idea of setting the time, because although I'll be honest, I do work out every day, and that's great, but I don't have a set time. And that's something that I've been doing it for the last month. Okay, now I need to think about setting the time so that I can do the other things that I've got on my list.
Yeah, I think that my bad habit, for using that word, is that I wait till the end of the day before I do my workout. And every time I do it, because I'm in my mind, I'm thinking, right, I'll get all the work out the way, and then I'll have something to look forward to. But every time I've done it, the endorphins I get from it, the feel good factor, and then it's the end of the day. I'm like, I don't use them for anything, that euphoric feeling that I get. So, if I was to be critical of the habit that I have, it's a good habit, but the time I do it is a bad habit. So it's an interesting reframe of a word, I think, and it's something I've been playing about with the last 5-6 weeks, and the response so far has been positive, definitely more engaging than when you talk about goal setting. People kind of switch off a little bit.
They switch off and think, oh, what is it going to involve?
Exactly, and even through this chat, I'm thinking there maybe needs to be another kind of layer, which is the mindset that you go into it with. Because if you go into it with the wrong mindset, you could create a bad habit without realizing. Because if you go into it thinking, oh, I've got to do this, I've set the time, that's great, I'm going to do it, great, but then you're not in the right mindset. Like, I have it so many times where I say I want to read this book, and then when I finally get to reading it, I read a page and I don't remember what I've read because I'm not focused on it. I need to, and I know with the way I am, I have to be in the right mindset to do something, but sometimes, on a double-edged sword, I'll use that as an excuse not to do it. I definitely think mindset has a lot to do with that as well. That is an interesting point you made, because that was the light bulb moment I had when I was actually in Wrexham delivering a module of the level 4 course, and I've been ill a lot during the start of the year. I think everyone had that cough that was going about, not the COVID one, but
I know, I was the same, but I thought, what's that going?
And I really, and I don't get ill often, and I got ill for about 6-7 weeks, you know, and it not massively bad, but just lingering around.
Yeah, I was the same.
Yeah, and it really knocked me for six mentally.
Yeah.
And I was listening to an audiobook, coincidentally or not, called Atomic Habits from James Clear. And he said something around goal setting being quite often a negative thing, and I was like, almost crashed my car when I was listening to that. I was like, but then when I chewed it over, what he was saying was that it can often be used as the excuse not to do things.
Yeah.
And you attach it to your identity, and it hit me like a bolt of lightning, because I don't set myself any goals mentally. Like, and if you want to use the word habit, it is a habit for me to seek new information, to work with people, to listen to podcasts, read books, etc., and therefore there is no limit. You know, there's no ceiling, there's no time frame. It's just a constant habit. But physical, I've always labeled myself, and I've done it in my mind thinking I was kind of being smart. But when I need a reason to work out. So when I did the marathon, I did a marathon again in 7 years ago. When I turned 40, I thought, right, I need to do something. And I trained for 10 months for this marathon, no problem.
Wow.
Playing a tournament when I played in December, I was going to the gym again. And I got, I need almost like a boast, you know, going, I need, you know, I'm just one of these people that needs a plan, or needs a goal before I can work out. And it suddenly hit me that I'm using that as an excuse not to work out.
Yeah, you've convinced yourself. That's one thing I've come across before when I've discussed it. You know, we can tell ourselves these stories sometimes, and before they've even happened, it may not ever happen. And we've told ourselves these stories, and you've gone round and around and around, and then you're like, I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah.
And you just think, well, hang on a minute, that's not happened. They're not facts. Actually, that's not stopping me doing it. And I find with myself and type of person, I have to kind of just really push myself sometimes. And it's not until you're in it or afterwards you think, oh, okay, I achieved that and I didn't think I could.
Yeah. No, it just amazing the conversations we have with ourselves. It's like convince yourself not to. And then that's when I set the 1 minute goal. Right, I'm going to do 1 minute of exercise every single day. I know 100% I can achieve that, and I know that the reality is I'll never do just 1 minute. There's been days where I've made myself start it. But you know, that was the 26th of February. I'll remember the date well.
Oh wow!
26th of February. Now my goal wasn't to lose weight, but I'd lost 1.5 stone.
That's amazing.
My goal was not to run longer, run faster, but I am. My goal is not to improve my flexibility, but I have. You know, and I think that's what I mean about this byproduct, this organic development happening without me needing to plan it. Because I just plan the habits. You know what I mean? And the rest happens. So.
And then everything else fell into place. I've got a friend who's quite similar. She barely used to work out and has been saying for ages. I even said to her, look, I'll give you free tennis lessons, just come along and just give it a go. And she's tried the couch, was it Couch to 5K?
Okay.
And she's absolutely loving it. I don't know if you've heard about that one.
And
I thought it was great because she's telling me now all the time, oh, I've been running, I've been doing this, I did this the other day, and my time's got better. And I thought, wow, like I've tried to help you, and granted, you've had to figure it out on your own, which I think is better. And now you're coming to me and saying that you've achieved these goals and you've done it by yourself. Really, yes, you've been inspired to try this out. But I thought it was really nice because it's something that she really needed to work on herself, but use the time wisely again to kind of just give it a go. One other thing I was going to say, interestingly, was I actually got into coaching after friends of mine had been saying for years, try it. And I always thought, I need to be self-employed to do it. And in London, I can't afford to live in London. And I, again, made up all of these excuses. And then I was out of work, was it about just over 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago. And my friend said, oh, there's the She Rallies course that Judy's developed, and it's free. Why don't you go along? And it was around that time where the whole female empowerment movement was really kicking off. And I thought, do you know what, this is the best opportunity to just go along. And I was not thinking at all I'm going to be a coach. I just thought I'll go along, see what it's like. And I did the She Rallies course, did the Miss Hits course, and ended up naturally networking without even realizing. Met a really good friend of mine who introduced me to someone who ended up hiring me, who I actually used to go to uni with. Bizarrely, I didn't even realise that until I found him on LinkedIn and said, oh, FYI, I'm looking for a job. I know you're hiring. But it's funny. And again, I think that's what's made me go back to reflecting on the last year and so on and so on, because I felt as though I was so unhappy for so long in the jobs I was doing. But I also look back and think, I don't regret it. I regretted not going to play tennis in America and going to an American college, but things happen for a reason. I've done other things that I think have made me more valuable, and that I think have been more valuable to my career. I think if I went into coaching when I stopped playing straight away, I was already on the way out. So I don't think it would have been the right time for me to really give it a go. And knowing what I'm like, I think at that age I probably would have been bored very quickly. Whereas now it's like a whole different chapter. My parents always put a lot of pressure on me to compete, and that's one thing I really didn't enjoy. And moving away from home and kind of almost starting over and then going back to tennis for me has really been just a breath of fresh air and made me love it again, as opposed to, oh, it's so competitive and I've got to win and got to achieve this, and it was just too much for me. And I had too much.
I have yet to meet a coach who has come back into tennis after a period of away who has not gone on to excel and love it.
Really?
Yeah, it's a common trait, because that you get it comes back to this growing up and settling down thing. The amount of this whole cliched midlife crisis thing, I think it happens for different people at different times. And the amount of people that I've worked with in the last 7 or 8 years who have actually just had this eureka moment where they're sitting in an office and they're going, what am I doing? I'm not enjoying this. I've maybe got another X years of good life in me, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting inside with a team of people I don't even like, and all this stuff. And they've made the decision to get back into tennis. And there's, I've yet to meet someone that is not, in whatever sphere they're doing it in, absolutely smashed it out of the park, because they are intrinsically motivated for the absolutely best of reasons. They tend to have the I don't like saying clients, but that's, in a business sense, that's what they are, but they're the client's best interests at heart, or the player's best interests at heart. And they absolutely fly with it. So I think there's something to be said for having these entry points to coaching at different stages of people's lives because of that reason. So well done. Good. Right, I'm going to jump on another call.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Suzie. Cheers.
Awesome. Take care. Bye. Bye.